Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Я хочу зараз запросити Еку на сцену. Вона сучасна бандуристка, співачка та авторка пісень. Дякую. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Thank you very much. I would like to introduce to your attention my new song in English. I wrote this song 2 months before the war started. This song called My Name is Ukraine.
Україна! Україна!
Дякую вам всім, що ви тут. Thank you very much for all of you for being here. I would like to invite to the stage right now our charge d'affaires for Ukraine in Great Britain, Едуард Фесько. Я хочу зараз пригласити на сцену тимчасового повіреного по справах України у Великої Британії Едуарда Фесько. Будь ласка.
Шановні українці, dear friends of Ukraine, день 24 лютого став переломним в житті кожного з нас. Попри окупацію Криму в 2014 році, попри тліючу війну Росії проти України з 14 по 22 рік, ми всі сподівалися, що конфлікт буде вирішений за столом переговорів. І ми щиро прагнули цього. Однак Росія зацікавлена лише в одному – як встановити своє панування над Україною. Як знищити Україну. І в ніч на 24 лютого ми всі прокинулися під звуки сирен і вибухів. І ми всі зрозуміли, що стоїть на кону. Це війна не за територію. Це війна навіть не за життя наших людей. Це війна за майбутнє. За майбутнє наших дітей. Адже Україна – це не просто сума регіонів від Закарпаття до Слобожанщини. Україна – це більше, ніж Волинь, Причорномор'я, Наддніпрянщина, Крим чи Донбас. Україна – це всі ми, якими ми є дітьми України. Як вона є наша мати, так і Україна є віддзеркальненням кожного з нас. І від нас залежить, якою Україна буде в майбутньому, чи буде взагалі. Україна встояла під першим натиском ворога. Встояла завдяки мужності і самопожертві нашого народу, а також допомозі наших друзів, в тому числі Сполученого Королівства. І ми безмежно вдячні їм за надану допомогу. Однак, російський агресор не має жодних намірів відмовлятися від своїх планів підкорити Україну. Війна триває. Україна продовжує зазнавати руйнувань. Віддають свої життя наші захисники, щоб ми могли жити. І кінцевий результат буде залежати від нас, українців. Не від політиків в зарубіжних столицях. Лише від нас. Від наших з вами конкретних дій. Всі мають робити все можливе для забезпечення підтримки ЗСУ. Не маємо права дозволити світу забути про триваючу російську агресію. Майбутнє України знаходиться в наших руках. Ми маємо самі творити історію нашої держави. Якщо це зробимо не ми, це зроблять за нас. І це буде історія Маріуполя, Бучі, Ізюма, зруйнованих Бахмута та Авдіївки. Щоб цього не допустити, тисячі наших співвітчизників віддали найцінніше, що мали – свої життя. І ми, живі, можемо гідно вшанувати їхню пам'ять лише одним способом – відстоявши та відбудувавши нашу Україну. Це вимагатиме наполегливих зусиль та роботи. Ми біжимо марафон, і кожний крок коштує сил, але він також наближає нас до фінішу. І лише доклавши усіх зусиль, виклавшись на всі 100%, ми можемо розраховувати на перемогу. Ukraine can and will win. Together we will win. Слава Україні!
Слава нації! Україна! My friends, Russia said Ukraine will be defeated in 3 days. They were wrong. Ukraine is unbreakable, 2 years strong. Russia said the international community wouldn't help Ukraine. Again, they were wrong. And a big shout out to Britain, its communities and people. You've been true friends of Ukraine. And Russia said that people would quickly forget about Ukraine. Yet again, they were wrong. Look around you at how many people there are today standing for Ukraine. And not just Ukrainians, people from all nations of Britain, people from all the European countries, all here united for Ukraine. Разом ми сила. Together we are mighty. So join with us. Work together to do these amazing things to help Ukraine. And let's remember, together we are mighty. Together we'll help Ukraine succeed. And together we'll help Ukraine to win this war against Russia. Slava Ukraini! Слава нації! Україна! 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 Thank you, everybody. Right, after that I want to introduce the next speaker. Please welcome journalist, security expert, parliamentary candidate for the cities of London and Westminster. A big hand for Edward Lucas. I'm speaking to you here not as a politician, not as an expert, not as a journalist, but as a citizen of this country. It's an honor to be here, and even more to acknowledge the debt that we owe to Ukrainians, a debt of gratitude, a debt of honor for what you have done, for what you are doing, and for what you will do to defend us all against the scourge of Kremlin imperialism. I so wish it wasn't necessary. We had so many warnings. Chechnya, Estonia, Georgia, the invasion of 2014, Salisbury here in this country. But there was just too much involved in ignoring those warnings. Too much wishful thinking, too much naivete, and to be blunt, too much money. So give Ukraine the weapons it needs: air defenses, fighter jets, tanks, long-range strikes, and ammunition. Give Ukraine all the weapons and give them now. We see the F-16s arriving in Ukraine, finally. But just imagine the difference if we'd made that decision 2 years ago. And please, dear Western friends, stop believing Russian promises. Stop believing Russian threats. Stop believing Russian lies. We have to destroy the Kremlin's lie machine, just as we have to destroy the Kremlin's war machine. We have to cripple the Russian war economy. So let's start with some real sanctions, not just these Potemkin ones. And I'll be writing about this in the Times on Monday. Let's seize those Russian central bank assets, all $300 billion of it. And let's not stop there. Let's put visa sanctions on all the people who enable Putin's war machine. Not just the Russians, but the Westerners. Let's go after the bankers, the lawyers, the accountants, the fixers, the grifters, the spivs, the creeps, all those people who go first class on the Russian gravy train. Let's freeze their bank accounts. So let's send a message from here in Trafalgar Square to Ukraine, whether it's to our brothers and sisters, our sons and daughters, our friends and family, and to our allies. We know you are fighting not just for Ukraine. You're fighting for our values against theirs, for civilization against barbarism, for justice against repression, for dignity against slavery, for life against death. In the words of the great slogan of the 1863 uprising against a previous Russian dictator 161 years ago, for your freedom over there and ours here. Za vashu I nashu svobodu. Thank you. To introduce a film for Ukraine that you'll see what's really happening over there. So here it comes. Thank you.
Great Britain, thank you for help and support. Great Britain, thank you for help and support. Great Britain, thank you for help support. Victory is ours. Hi, thank you and thank you for help and support. Slava Ukraini! Great Britain, thank you for help and support. Great Britain, thank you for help and support. Slava Ukraini! Героям слава!
Slava Nazi! Ukraine! Russia's attacks on Ukraine have been systematic, deliberate, and serve a clear purpose: inflicting terror on Ukraine's civilian population. It has attacked civilian infrastructure, including schools, private residential houses, hospitals, and railway stations. The killing of civilians, torture, and disappearances are part of a deliberate strategy to terrorize the local population and rid the territories of Ukrainian resistance. Russia's crimes can be seen in the liberated territories. The scale of these crimes become evident when Ukrainian forces entered previously occupied towns such as Bucha and Irpin in the early days of the invasion. Mass atrocities were also uncovered in the Kherson and Kharkiv regions after these territories were liberated. Ukraine is fighting not only to exist, but for everything that we claim to believe in: our freedoms, our democracy, our hard-fought rights and aspirations. Let's give Ukraine the support it needs: air defense, artillery, anti-armor systems, and existential requirements for Ukraine. Arm Ukraine as you promised. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome the representatives of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign: John McDonnell MP, former Shadow Chancellor; Christopher Ford, political activist, Secretary of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign; Mikhailo Antoniv, Labour member of the Welsh Government and Council General; John Maloney, Assistant General Secretary of Public and Commercial Services Union; Anastasia Oppenheim, representative of the Polish Social Democratic Party, Razem, London; and Dr. Yulia Yoshenko, representative of the NGO Socjalny Ruch, campaigning author and political economist, senior lecturer at the University of Greenwich. Slava Ukraini!
I'm John McDonnell. I'm a Labour MP. I'm a founder member 10 years ago of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign. So when the illegal invasion took place, we automatically expressed our solidarity with the Ukrainian people and their search for freedom. 2 years on now, this illegal war, and that's what it is: the invasion of a democratic, sovereign country is a war crime, and Putin is a war criminal as a result. That's why we stand against him. 2 years on, it's been a hard 2 years, I know, and I send my condolences and deepest sympathy to all those families who have suffered loss as a result of this illegal war. But I also want to pay tribute to the courage and determination of the Ukrainian people, for the strength that they've shown in this resistance, the courage they've shown in fighting back, and yes, the solidarity that they've shown across the country. I want to say this: I give a commitment. We will stand in solidarity with the Ukrainian people until you win, until you secure your freedom forever. Ukraine will win. You'll secure a peace on your own terms, and you'll reconstruct a democratic, sovereign, united country. Slava Ukraini!
Mnie zvat Mikhailo Antoniv, deputat Parliamentu Walesu, generalny procureur Walesu. I bring you solidarity from the people of Wales, from the First Minister of Wales,
and from the Welsh Government. And Wales, as a country within the United Kingdom, stands solidly with Ukraine. I returned from Kyiv last Saturday, one of many visits from Wales, from Welsh members of Parliament, from Welsh trade unions who have been delivering supplies to the miners' unions in Ukraine for onward transmission to those of our families who are defending Ukraine on the front line. And what I can say is that those miners in Ukraine, in Pavlograd, in the Donetsk Oblast, in Kharkiv, are fighting on the front line. They do not want Russia to take over their homes. And when I spoke to them, they said, there's one thing we expect. We expect you to give us the arms that are necessary to defend democracy, because we are the front line in Europe. We are the front line fighting Russian fascism. Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Nazi! Ukraina!
Thank you. I'm Christopher Ford from the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign and a member of the Labour Party. I'm standing here today and I don't intend to make the same speech I could have made 2 years ago. For after 2 years, we've seen the evidence to the whole world what Ukrainians have known for centuries. That Russian imperialism is a barbaric, authoritarian regime that's prepared to unleash genocidal wars. Vladimir Putin said a lot about history, but he underestimated in his account of history the resilience of the Ukrainian people. Ukrainians have faced Stalin's famines. Ukrainians have faced Hitler's slaughterhouse. And Ukrainians are facing this genocidal war that has been waged today. And today we stand at a crossroads in history. The same crossroads we faced at the beginning of World War II. Ukraine doesn't need fine words and speeches of solidarity. Ukraine needs weapons. Ukraine needs aid. Ukraine needs what's necessary to secure victory. I'm calling now for us to take the necessary steps in the year ahead to provide everything that's available in the arsenal of this country. Tanks, aircraft, artillery, so that Ukraine can not just resist the Russian imperialists, but defeat the Russian imperialists. I want to see no more a situation where this city is a sewage pipe of Russian money in banks. The Russian money needs to be seized. It needs to go to rebuild Ukraine. The properties around this city, which are owned by Russian oligarchs and Russian business, need to be taken and given to the refugees from Ukraine and Syria who flee Putin. And I finish on this warning to the politicians who are coming. Woe betide them if Ukraine loses this war. But I'm confident that will not happen. With our solidarity, we can win. Peramaha!
My name is John Maloney. I'm the Assistant General Secretary of a union called the PCS. I know in this crowd there are other trade unions as well. The trade union movement generally has supported the people and the trade union movement in Ukraine. We've not only supported it by word, but also by deed. So my union gave £10,000 and delivered £10,000 of medical aid to Ukraine in November. But that's one small thing that the unions have done. The unions have delivered vehicles, delivered medical aid, delivered vital needs and means to the Ukrainian trade union movement. And we have to continue to do that. Now, my union fully supports the people and trade union movement of Ukraine for a number of reasons. Firstly, we have to be consistent. We cannot allow a great power, so-called great power, such as Russia, to impose its will on another country. There lies anarchy in the world. Secondly, if you believe in the principle of self-determination, be it for the Palestinians, be it for the Tibetans, be it for anybody, then you have to apply it for the Ukrainians as well. There's no division when it comes to self-determination. Last and certainly not least, everywhere the Russian state takes over, human rights are extinguished. Human rights such as the expression, freedom of expression, but also trade union rights are extinguished. Free trade unions are abolished, banished everywhere the Russian state takes over. And that is the fate of the trade union movement in Ukraine if Russia was to ever win. So I repeat the cry of my union, which is that the Russian state should withdraw, that it should immediately withdraw to the boundaries of Ukraine, that actually it immediately starts to pay money back to Ukraine so that Ukrainians themselves can build. And my union is utterly clear that it's only the Ukrainians who can determine when peace happens. It's only the Ukrainians who can determine when enough's enough. So I give my solidarity on behalf of my union, and I believe on behalf of many other unions. If you're in a trade union movement, if you're a trade union member and your union is not supporting Ukraine, then raise that cry in your union. Unions may not be the most perfect democracies in the world, but they are democratic. If you raise that demand, then your union too can join the other unions in fully supporting the trade union movement and peoples of Ukraine. Solidarity with Ukraine.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna. I am originally from Warsaw, and I wanted to bring my solidarity on behalf of the Polish left party Razom. I want to start by paying tribute to the courage and resilience of the Ukrainian people. It's been inspiring to watch the brave military defense, which meant that Ukraine didn't fall in 3 days and Ukrainian democracy lives on. As well as the civilian resistance. I always remember a story from the start of the full-scale invasion of Elena, a woman in Kyiv who downed a Russian drone with a jar of pickled tomatoes. I hope she's doing well. But I also want to pay tribute to the workers of Ukraine, the medical workers who are treating the wounded, the teachers running classes in bomb shelters, and of course to all Ukrainians abroad who are organizing, volunteering, supporting each other, spreading the word, and campaigning on behalf of their loved ones back home. At Razom, we stand with you. We stand with you because we get it. As Polish people and Ukrainians, we share a history of resisting imperial oppression, including Russian imperialism. We know the value of democracy and self-determination because we know what it's like to be denied it. We do not consent to being anyone's sphere of influence. Eastern Europe is not a plaything of any murderous dictator. Ukraine is not a buffer zone. Only the Ukrainian people should decide their future. So we must stay united because your struggle is our struggle. And let me say one more thing. We cannot allow the hardship that people have faced to be exploited by the far-right and pro-Kremlin forces who are trying to divide us. I want to make this clear. The people who are destroying Ukrainian grain or raising anti-Ukrainian slogans at the border do not speak for the majority of Polish people. As working people on both sides of the border, we must stand united against imperialism, against exploitation. So we will stand with you until victory, in solidarity from Warsaw to London to Ukraine. And we'll stand with you after victory as well, demanding the full cancellation of Ukraine's foreign debt so you can rebuild your country.
of my heart that soon you will invite me to see a fully liberated, peaceful, beautiful Ukraine. Solidarity.
Слава Україні! Смерть ворогам! Доброго дня! Мене звати Юлія Юрченко, вінничанка, киянка, українка, дослідниця проблем України незалежного періоду. My name is Yulia Yurchenko. I am of Vinnytsia, of Kyiv, of Ukraine, and I research the problems of Ukraine independent period as political economist. I will switch to English from here on. I'm here speaking in the capacity of an activist, of a scholar, and specifically as a representative of Соціальний рух, a movement in Ukraine for a better country for which Ukrainians are fighting for today, so that once the victory is won, and it will be won, we can build a country where everyone can strive and everybody's rights and social guarantees are secured. The bones and blood of my country people align in the past to universal freedoms and rights of self-realization and self-determination of humans and nations in own land and internationally. Ukraine fights for the UN Charter and against all occupations and genocides, as it doesn't matter who and under which flag commits those crimes, they are crimes and they must be punished, or international law and rights do not matter otherwise. Слава нації! Україна! 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 Нашим захисникам тричі! Я хочу, щоб цілий світ почув нас тут. World support Ukraine!
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 Stand with 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 Ukraine!
While we're standing here, what we're doing as well is to remind the world and to share with the world our Ukrainian culture, our music, that our culture exists, our art, what Russia is trying to destroy right now. We're here to share, and we're here to say that it exists. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
I would like to now invite to the stage our next speaker. We're now going to hear from the conductor and the founder of the Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra, Carolyn Wilson. Я хочу запросити зараз на сцену Carolyn Wilson, диригент і початківець Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra. Дякую, слава Україні!
Героям слава! World support Ukraine! Slava.
My name is Carolyn Wilson, and I'm the conductor of the Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra. That was our Ukrainian version of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, in which the chorus sings, Slava for Ukraine, glory for Ukraine. Beethoven fought for freedom against oppression, and as musicians, that's what we are doing. The musicians of the Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra come from the embattled cities of Ukraine, from Kyiv, from Kharkiv, Kherson, Odessa, Lviv, and from small towns across the country. I am Ukrainian Canadian and grew up in a Ukrainian community in Winnipeg. Together, we are Ukrainian soldiers of music, fighting on the cultural front against the brutal aggressors. The Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra was born days after the invasion began, and we will never stop in our musical defense of Ukraine. Today, on this solemn anniversary, and every day until the war is won. This summer, we will embark on our Beethoven 9th Freedom Tour of Europe and the United States. We look forward to the day when Ukraine is liberated, the days when we will be performing our Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra Victory Tour. Every note we play is for those brave heroes who are fighting for the freedom of Ukraine and for a democratic world free of tyranny. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава! World support Ukraine!